Hello, I'm Dane, and welcome to another episode of Doc Jutsu and happy Saturday. In today's episode, you'll learn how to dynamically show the current and previous years, the variance in dollar and percentage in a matrix visual. When I say dynamic, it means that the column names change in response to a slicer selection. This vlog is actually in response to a post in Power BI Filipinas community. And this is a post. So we wanted to show the previous year, the current year, a variance, and just a variance percent, without of course showing a variance and a percentage in the per year breakdown. Unfortunately, this cannot be achieved with measures alone. In order to do this, we need to make use of a disconnected table that will hold the column values and then a measure to return the value we want. I've already answered this one, and this is the result, but later I'll be discussing how to come up with this solution. As you can see, the columns change in response to the slicer selection. So when I select 2024, it shows 2023 and 2024. And the same thing happens if I select 2023. Okay. In this PBIX, I use DAX, purely DAX, no Power Query or whatsoever. As you can see, this is a calculated table created using DAX. But for this episode, I'll be using Power Query. So we'll be creating this table in Power Query, and what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this, copy table, and now I'll open an Excel file. Paste that to an Excel file. So what we need are the period category, period sort, category sort format, and year columns. Okay. So the reason why we need to have a separate column for the period and for the years because the period column is what you'll be able to see in the header. The year column is what you need to filter our fact table or our dates dimension table. And we also need to sort these, a value in this column using this column, which is period sort. If we don't place anything in the period sort or the sort value is blank, those values that are being sorted will be just sorted alphabetically. Otherwise, the sort numbers will kick in. So for example, these, how many columns, how many rows are? These 5 rows will be sorted alphabetically and they will have their own priority because their sort, the period sort is blank, and then they will be followed by variance, dollar, which is number 1, and variance percent, which is number 2. The same thing applies to category. And the reason why we have a category is because we want to show which columns include the total sales, the actual sales, and which column refers to the variance. And I am referring to this cell here and this cell as well. And we also want to custom format our values Because if not, everything will have the same formatting. So I'll just add 2 more years, but actually my data is only until 2024. But just in case in your scenario, you will have more than 2024, or you want to future-proof this table, then just add more rows. This is 2025, 2026. And enter data. And I'll call this table period or custom period. Edit. We want to make sure that we have set up everything correctly, because sometimes if we just load it, Power Query will just um sometimes Power Query assigns a wrong data type. So it appears that everything is correct. Let's just replace this with no. Okay. And then we load this to the model. As it loaded. And also this is supposed to be a disconnected table. So you want to make sure that there is no relationship between, let's see, custom period. That's supposed to be custom period. Can I rename this one here? Custom period rename. That there is no relationship between this custom period table and either the fact table or the dates table. And now let's make sure that our period and category columns are sorted correctly. So period sort by period sort, and category is sorted by category sort. And then let's just hide the sort columns as well as the format and the year. Now let's check if our columns are sorted correctly. So period, yes, they're sorted correctly. And then category. And let's change the visual to matrix. Period. And period line. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is, of course, to create our measure. Let's this my measure equals first is we want to check the current selected year. So that's going to be current year is equal to max of year from a dates table. Previous year is equal to current year minus 1. And we want to get the previous year's value. And let's see. Previous year's value is equal to, um, let me find, let me choose a measure first. So we'll be using total revenue. Total revenue. Calculate total revenue for dates, year is equal to third year. And we will return this to check if we've got the previous year's value correct. My measure. Mhm. Okay. So is it 25 million? Let's check. Yeah. Previous year, so I've selected 2024. So the value for 2023 should be the same as this. It says 25.7 million, so that's correct. Okay, so we now have our previous year's value. Let's get our dollar variance. The dollar variance is equal to total revenue minus previous year's value. And then dollar percentage variance is equal to, we divide dollar variance over previous year's value. So the next thing we will be doing is to assign these variables to the correct column, column values. Let's see. So let's create a variable for selected year, which is selected value and custom period year, and another variable for selected period, selected value, and period, selected period. Now let's create a switch to statement. So we want to check if the current year is equal to the previous year. So current year, then we return the previous year's value. The selected year is equal to the current year we return whatever is currently selected, or whatever is the result of our license selection, and that is 2024 total revenue. And selected period equals, what do we have here? Variance dollar. Variance dollar, then dollar variance. And the other one, selected period is equal to variance percent. So dollar PCT variance. Now let's check if we have this correctly. I think we have it right. Let me create a screenshot of this so we can inspect. Let's see. So I'm currently selecting 2024. So 2024 is 14.8 million. 2023 is 21.9 million. No, that's correct. How about the variance? Let's check 14,854 minus 21,912. That's about the same, 7.058 million. And over is 21,912. That's around 32%. Okay, so we have it correctly. We have the values right. Let's clean up a bit, remove the totals, and add more granularity. So category. And now let's make use of our format column. So we can have variance percent as percentage. So my period, my measure, go to dynamic, and this should automatically switch to format. So we have measure and we have format. And our format string is selected value format. Okay, so I think that's about it. We have the values correct. We now have a dynamic previous and current year column headers. So let's check. And of course, for 2020, there's no 2019, so we're seeing just 2020. Well, thanks for staying with me, and I hope you learned something. Have a great one. Bye bye.